to Stinker Madness.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Stinker Madness. We just got done watching Good Journey movie.
Masters of the Universe. I'm going to ruin it right now. Skeletor doesn't win.
No, Skeletor does not win. He's
just ruining it right off the bat.
He kind of just ends up like...
I don't think any of the viewers won either.
No, I didn't win. I mean, I kind of won. It was kind of fun.
It was kind of funny. The bullshit flying machines. What the hell were they called? The
Centurion flyers?
Centurion, yeah.
Air Centurions.
Air Centurions.
They were stupid.
They were real dumb.
I wonder if, like... Because you know how, like, at the time of Back to the Future 2, the hoverboards, everybody's like, oh, we're like 2 years away from getting those. I wonder if people saw the Air Centurions and were stupid enough to be like, I'm going to get one of those.
Yeah, I don't know. That was before, wasn't it? Back to the Future 2.
Let's see here. Back to the Future 1 was 85, so this movie was 87. So it's like right in there. Someplace in there.
So just so you know, when you watch this movie, you really need to pay attention when they introduce the characters because none of them really look like who they're supposed to be.
No.
If they're even, and then there's only a minimal amount of actual characters from He-Man that actually get put in the movie.
I only could spot, obviously, Skeletor and He-Man and Teela and Man-at-Arms. But the only other guy, well, Evil-Lyn, but then there was Beastman.
Beastman was it, yeah.
That was it. Like, I don't know about any of the other...
No, those other guys were not in He-Man.
Well, the Sorceress was in there. But
the Sorceress.
She turned from a feather
bird
beautiful bird lady to an Ice Queen.
I actually don't even think she looked like an Ice Queen. I think she looked like an old nun. Like, just...
I don't know. She had those crystal things on her head.
She was frumpy. She was not...
I don't think it has anything to do with Christina Pickles. I think it was just a bad costume.
I think it was a terrible costume.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she just looked like an old school marm or something. It was tragic because...
And the Castle Grayskull did not look like Castle Grayskull.
Yeah, no.
It looked like something weird under construction.
The opening sequence, I will make everybody aware, because we'll just start there. The first thing you see is a painting of Castle Grayskull, and it's not even like a modeled, like, not well done. It just looks like the cartoon.
Yeah, it is the painting, isn't it? And then after you go into space, then it shows the shot of the desert where everybody's being taken prisoner. And when we're watching the first part of the commentary, I noticed that in that shot, the guy that's nearest to the camera, which is still far away, falls down.
There's a lot of tripping and falling down in that.
Well, guy just falls down.
Yeah, a guy just falls down. And one of the things
is just
like,
standing
you get
there?
in there, right? No, he's pushing a prisoner, and one guy's pushing a prisoner, and the guy behind the other guard, he just sort of takes a dive. He just takes a tumble, and then when he gets up, he like kicks a rock. It's great. And there's a lot of guys falling down because they have these fake Darth Vader. Everybody's Darth Vader.
Yeah,
and there was a really small. That's why they're all falling down. Nobody could see shit out of those things.
No. It was like super black helmet.
Because those guys were falling down throughout the whole movie. Because they couldn't see a damn thing. I mean, one of them falls on He-Man at one point.
Yeah, we'll get to all of that. The thing that I want to take away from the very beginning is that the credit sequence right after you see the really bad painting of Castle Grayskull is just a direct ripoff of all of the Superman movies. The credits fly in from the screen. The music is very similar.
Yeah,
and at the end of it all, it explodes. And the credits explode.
And I just looked at the back of my copy of Superman as well. It was the next year was Superman 4. So they probably just like went from that production. That was probably their next major production, but they already had the rights for it.
Well, I also looked that up about what Canon was doing at the time, and their plan was that they needed to make... They had the rights to Spider-Man, but they knew that Spider-Man was going to be such a heavy budget that they needed to make the money to make Spider-Man. So they just said, we'll make Masters of the Universe and Superman 4, and those will be just so profitable that we'll have enough money to do Spider-Man. And both of them tanked.
I think that was the perceived plan. If you actually look at what happened with Menahem Glaniorum Globus, that's right before they take over MGM, leech the money out of it, and then bounce back to Israel. So they sort of carpet-bagged Hollywood, which I appreciate them for doing.
Well, either way, they made those two films and they stunk.
Well, they really saved Superman 4. If you watch the commentary and the deleted scenes, they came in, watched it, slapped the guys around that were like, oh, it's so amazing. They ripped 45 minutes out that didn't make any sense out of Superman.
How did they save anything? That movie's terrible.
You should see the deleted scenes. They were so... Like, the stuff they took out of it was unviewable.
Maybe it might have been added like a level of redeemingness to viewing it.
It would have been 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty long. That's pretty long.
I don't know. I thought this He-Man Masters of the Universe was a little too long. At the end, I was like, oh, come on.
It was getting pretty dragged on. And, like, He-Man sucked.
Yeah.
Like, He-Man
was a gun-toting He-Man.
Yeah,
he was not a sword-wielding He-Man. He was
at no point did he ever kick ass. Like, the closest he came to kicking ass was the flying saucers sequence, and he just looked uncomfortable.
It looked like he was on a Segway without handlebars.
Yeah, exactly. Like, at no point where you're like, whoa, look at He-Man go! You're just the whole time you're like, He-Man kind of blows.
He used the sword twice until the end.
Yeah.
Like, there's a sword fight at the end, finally.
So, anyways,
when
they get... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, that ending sword fight where Skeletor turns into a totally gold samurai.
The golden samurai, yes.
With elephant ears.
Ears and Viking horns.
It was just so
And
weird.
a giant gem on top of his head. No sense. No sense at all. Anyways, we'll get to that. So, Skeletor has a cosmic key...
Gwildor,
Well, no, Skeletor has one.
Well, wait, before we even talk about the key, we need to talk about Gwildor.
Being
new
the
character,
replacement for Orko.
Yeah, the new character that they introduced, which looked like a troll that had cow pies, which is cow poop, on either side of his face.
Cow pies are cow poop?
Yeah,
Huh.
Cow pies on either side of his face, and then a beard. And I was like, wow. Willow! It was just weird.
He was in Willow. It's Billy Barty was in Willow as well. He's the...
he looks...
He's the wizard that's like, never mind the bird, follow the river. Same guy.
Yeah, it was him.
Billy Barty's been around for a long time.
I didn't catch that at all. The whole
he
time
was super annoying.
The whole time I was thinking, why didn't they get freaking what's his nuts? Willow. The hell's his name?
Willow.
R2D2.
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis, not R2D2. He was Wicket in The Leprechaun. Why didn't they get him? That guy's great. But I guess
he would have
Billy
been like
Barty didn't do
probably
a bad job either.
16 years old at that point, though, too.
He's pretty young, but Willow was
like in the 90s.
Oh, no way.
It was like 91, 92.
I don't think so, man.
Yeah, it was like 91.
Well, I guess I wasn't paying attention at that time. But so Gwildor has a cosmic key, and
he makes the cosmic.
the cosmic key, but he's a locksmith. But he doesn't want there to be locks on doors. Like, that's his first line is,
I remember when
I long for the day when there's no locks on doors.
When I don't have a job.
You're a locksmith. That's not going to work out for you, Gwildor. But he's like, and why was there Gwildor? What was the problem with Orko? I mean, sure.
He floats.
So what? So what? Don't make him not float. Just make him Orko, but not float.
With any of it, though, I mean, I kind of have a big spiel about it, because, like, Mattel pulls the... I'll wait for that for later, but...
So I have a big problem with the costumes and the character selection for this. I mean...
The costumes look like they were just recycled from some other movies.
Lundor.
Dolph Lundgren?
Yeah.
Ralph Lundgren.
Ralph Lundor.
He's great.
Yeah, I mean, he made a great He-Man with his crappy blonde wig.
Did he?
I
thought he was a pretty crappy He-Man.
Probably the best option for He-Man at the time. I mean, the guy's muscular.
He looks like...
You know what the best option for He-Man was at the time? To not have a movie.
Yeah.
That was the best option for He-Man. Like, He-Man someplace in Eternia right now he's a sad panda because that movie was insulting to him.
I don't understand why he had to have the power there at the very end, why he did that.
You guys keep going to the end. Let's talk about why this whole movie exists, what the plot is.
So, I mean, you can sum up the plot very quickly.
There's a cosmic key that Gwildor makes.
Which, did you see the Gwildor's garden, the shot? Because when they're busting in there and they trample Gwildor's garden, adding insults, it was a bunch of plastic Easter eggs.
Yes, I did.
No, not Gwildor's garden of plastic Easter eggs.
So, He-Man, Teela, Man-at-Arms get roped into hanging out with Gwildor somehow. He has a cosmic key that Skeletor wants, yet Skeletor also has one.
He didn't know that it existed until he turned it on. That's part of the
Skeletor
dialogue.
didn't know?
Yeah, he's like, if he knew I had this prototype, he would want it and want to kill me or whatever.
Skeletor has one.
Yeah, he doesn't know
exact same thing.
He doesn't.
So why does he even care?
Once he turns it on, and he's like, "Oh no, they have got it one too."
So what?
Because then later on he says, "If I don't have everything, I have nothing."
Huh.
That's the motivation for the character.
Well, we have one, so you've already got one.
You've already got. Well, then you won't want anybody else running around with one.
That's so stupid.
Because then you can use the element of surprise as he did. Because that's the only
To go
way.
where? Where does Skeletor need to go? He just needs to hang out in his castle. He
Well,
doesn't.
if you can use the cosmic key to do pull the same trick he pulled on Eternia, that's how he used the cosmic key to get past the guards.
Right, and ambush them so that he could take over Castle Grayskull.
So it's a strategic advantage to have a cosmic key. So he wants to be the only person that has the cosmic key.
So the Skeletor finds out, turns it on. They storm Gwildor's house, and He-Man and his group escape out the back door that goes directly to Skeletor's castle.
To Castle Grayskull, yeah.
Yeah, just like
Which
open
is
up the door and
interesting
you go right there.
They're like, "We don't know you. Who are you?" "Oh, I'm Gwildor. Come to my house that has a back door that goes to the place that you live."
Right.
"You don't know me, though,
Where
at all."
the sorceress is captured in a force field. And I think that was kind of the subplot, or not the subplot, but I think that may have been the unspoken plot, is He-Man's motivation purely is to free the sorceress from this force field.
Yeah.
Like, nothing else. Obviously, to keep the cosmic key out of Skeletor's hands, but not really, because Skeletor's already got one. So, at no point is it like, we have to capture Skeletor's cosmic key.
No, you just want to defeat Skeletor and free the whatever sorceress lady.
So, they get in a fight at the sorceress
Castle Grayskull.
prison,
Castle
Castle Grayskull, that ends up leading to them having to use the cosmic key, which jumps them to Earth.
Yes. As an escape route.
As an escape route to Earth.
From the apparently 2 sound stages linked together with more construction, according to the director.
Yes,
the commentary.
more bigger set than anything in 10 years.
Which was super not impressive.
No, it was
when you watch it, like,
it was
wow,
pretty
that's
lame.
Not that impressive.
Like, the one in Flash Gordon was a lot more impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to mention that Skeletor is kind of decorating this place as we go through the movie. All of a sudden there's some skulls there.
Well, he's got
draperies.
lots of time on his hands because he's really not involved in Earth at all. Like, he doesn't show up. He sends a bunch of goons to do his work, and they're all doing his work for him and chasing He-Man and trying to get the cosmic key. But what the hell's Skeletor doing the whole time in his castle? He's just
Once they
decorating.
jump to Earth, nothing happens for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, there's a bunch of, like, do you have the key? Where's the key? I don't have
looking
the key.
for stuff.
It's over there.
Then they eat some ribs.
They stole those.
And then
that little weird troll stole those
They did
ribs.
steal the ribs out of the
then-
back of the car.
And then they didn't even eat all of them.
That Man-at-Arms specifically mentions, I did that many times before you were born, Tatila. You made out in the back of cars, in the back of Mustangs, Man-at-Arms? Huh. That doesn't make any sense.
Thanks for sharing, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you get to meet Courtney Cox and whoever that other jackass is that's in all sorts of movies.
Yeah, Kevin, generic-looking actor, man.
Yeah. And then nothing happens, and then finally they come and fuck up the prom.
Well, they find Courtney Cox.
They keep turning it on so that Skeletor.
Yeah,
can
Courtney
find
Cox and Kevin find the cosmic key while making out in a park or a graveyard or.
No, they went to go see her parents because her parents died in a plane crash.
Yeah.
She wanted to go visit them before she left for New Jersey.
Oh, they don't make out; they're pure because she's got dead parents.
Yeah,
and issues. But so she finds the cosmic key. They start pushing buttons without like worrying about it. What the hell is this?
It's
a Japanese synthesizer. Let's push all of these buttons. Lights come out of the top, and they just get all giddy about it. At no point do they ever go, we should maybe stop pushing all of these buttons, because things are getting pretty weird.
I wouldn't. If that was just some crap I found on the ground and it was lighting up, I'd be like, look at this shit. Whoa.
I'd take it.
I would do it.
I would not be worried about hairy fuckers jumping in and fucking up my prom, which is what happens next.
I would totally disassemble
with the white fur cape on.
I would disassemble it after I played with it for a while. I would play with it for a while.
So, they've got the cosmic key, dinking around. Now, Skeletor's men know where they're at, so they warp in with their cosmic key, start chasing Courtney Cox, while He-Man and his cronies are also looking for the cosmic key
It was just all way too long.
Well, it doesn't make
this
any
whole
sense either.
Point was just way too long.
It never happens. The one cosmic key never leaves Skeletor's side.
No.
And so he uses it to let them go through.
Right.
So maybe there's a scheduled time that you come back through or something, but there would be no way for those guys to get back.
No, they just show up.
They just show back up
in Eternia.
in Eternia.
We need to have a meeting with Skeletor. We'll just walk to Eternia.
Yeah,
because we don't have a cosmic key. The other thing that I thought was funny, while they're chasing everybody's chasing each other around trying to get to Courtney Cox and Kevin, whoever he is.
Kevin has a sport van. I thought that was kind of sweet.
That was pretty boss van. But, no, they're in the suburbs. And in, a small town shop area, nobody is looking outside, seeing the giant, blonde, naked man running through the streets.
Yeah.
And beast men and spaceships, and at no point is there call the cops, there's a naked man in our neighborhood.
No, he wasn't naked.
He was pretty naked.
Just so the
He-Man
listeners know,
is pretty nude.
he didn't have any furries on his underwear. It was a pair of Speedos that they put on him.
And a velvet cape.
Right.
And a mullet.
And a mullet.
Maybe a potato stuck down his pants.
In defense of the
low.
adaptation, he had a mullet in the cartoon as well.
He had an ape drape.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, he had an ape drape.
That's true.
A serious case of the hockey hair. Not really a mullet.
I think if you would have combed Lundgren's hair forward, it would have been an ape drape, but he just has it brushed to the side a little bit too much.
Feathered, that total
out.
sweet.
Yeah.
Little bit of Aquanet in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that last scene that he was in with the Aquanet hair, he had obviously blow-dried that baby and put a few curls in the top.
Just teased the shit out of it.
Oh, yeah.
30 minutes and maybe 2 cans of Aquanet. He also could have been the front man for some, Wasp or some crappy band like that. Maybe not even Wasp. Maybe more like Air Supply. Anyways.
Did you get an Air Supply when they came to Boise in, 93?
I did, actually.
Yeah, I did, too.
I'm all out of love. The other thing I noticed about Lundgren is... And there's a rock and roll connection to this statement. It's kind of weird, but he starts fighting, and he does get involved with the sword at one point in the beginning. I can't remember if it's Beastman. I think he's fighting Beastman in, the sign company.
There's the Blade guy.
Oh, yeah, he's fighting Blade. And the whole time he's fighting Blade, he is totally making Peter Frampton guitar faces.
Yeah.
Just the weirdest looking mouth movements. You can't see the faces I'm making.
Did you notice that place? Because they went back to that location 3 times.
Right, the sign company, I think.
Well, no, so it was a warehouse, obviously.
The trash warehouse.
But they had a sign that was lit up that said pizza. I'm pretty sure that's not a pizza place.
And it was also connected to the high school.
It was very close to the high school.
Very close to the high school gymnasium.
So, it's just, it's like a storage unit, but it has a light-up sign claiming that it's a pizza parlor.
Maybe it's just boxes filled with pizza.
I don't think that there was pizza in those boxes. There was crates.
There was an old mattress.
Pizza in crates. At no point do you have to lift up pizza with a forklift.
Yeah. Did you guys catch the... So they're obviously... Havoc is being wreaked now because there's battles and...
But most of the townsfolk don't care.
No,
the townies are just unconcerned with this.
But back at the music shop, there's sirens... cars flying by, police and fire department, and the music shop guy's like, what's going on? I'll just pick up this police scanner.
Oh.
Why does he have a police scanner?
Yeah, always somebody has a police scanner.
At a music shop?
I know, it's too convenient.
Huh.
But
there's just police scanners laying around.
But in movies, yeah, in these sort of movies,
right.
There's always...
What's going on? I'll check the scanner.
That his character only exists to have a police scanner and get his shit blown up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
and they needed the keyboard at the end.
Right. Well,
which I think that
Kevin's
was
a musician.
Kevin's keyboard out of his
because
he did say he had to go back to Charlie's to get
to get the keyboard because his got burnt in the high school fire.
Right.
Which I can't imagine any keyboard surviving at Charlie's after the firefight.
Right. So they have a firefight at the music shop. Then it gets exploded, just completely exploded.
We forgot about the introduction of one of the only good characters, what's his face, the detective.
Oh, Jack Tokum?
Potts. Nobody takes Lubric,
yeah.
Lubric is his name.
The actor's kind of like a crappy
Tolkien,
Terrence
James
Howard.
Tolkien.
Or not Terrence Howard, Jack Pleasance?
Yeah, Donald Pleasance.
Donald Pleasance. He's like a crappy Donald Pleasance.
He's the comic relief cop.
He is the comic relief cop. Yeah.
And he does a good job with it.
Yeah, he's fine. He's a cop in everything that he's ever been. It's James Token, right?
I think James Token. Yeah.
But if you do get the DVD to watch this movie, which you're probably going to have to, but make sure that you look at the characters because they have what their missions are.
On the special features.
On the special features.
DVD features.
Because... And they have their key phrases or something like that.
Battle line. And Courtney Cox's was like, I'm pregnant.
She's not pregnant.
No, but no. I bet she is pregnant. She seemed kind of like a trashy slut. All decked out in denim and...
That weird denim coat that was like the butt of...
I wrote something down about that. She has like 63 buttons on.
She's got a boyfriend who's obviously in love with her, and she's just ready to pack up and go to New Jersey whenever.
Her parents died in a plane crash. Come on, she's all fucked up. Not to mention...
She doesn't care.
She's got some good sense to her because...
She's out of there, man.
High school boyfriends... How often does that really work out?
You're going to get some heroin and move to Jersey.
Jersey isn't the right place, I don't think, but, at least she was, I don't know.
You like Courtney Cox?
No, I don't like the character.
She was a sweet character.
No, I think it was terrible.
Emotionally connected to her.
They said that was her first major film.
It was her first major film, which I knew that she was from the Can't Start a Fire Without a Spark video, but she was
in Family Ties.
I thought
she was.
I thought she got discovered in that video.
And I could be wrong. It could be Daphne Zuniga, but I thought Courtney Cox was Michael J. Fox's girlfriend for like one season.
Yeah, but where's all of that in the timeline? Because this movie's 87. When was Can't Start a Fire Without a Spark?
Like probably 84, 85.
When's Can't Start a Fire Without a Spark?
I don't know. I don't like Springsteen.
No, I don't like Springsteen either. We just lost half of our listening audience.
Oh,
Springsteen's awesome!
We lost them a long time ago. We haven't been talking about anything for about 20 minutes.
We talked about things? So, they have the shootout in the pizza warehouse is another point that I want to bring up. Sarod, the reptile guy, which wasn't there a reptile He-Man character?
The Snake Or.
Was he Snake Or Reptilia?
I don't know.
Yeah, there were two of them.
But anyways, the Sarod character, all he does in the movie is get shot by Courtney Cox, and then Skeletor zaps him. That's all he did.
He-Man throws him into Blade.
Oh, yes, he is also a weapon.
And I'm pretty sure it's a lady in that costume.
Because that's a really small dude if it's not.
Yeah, it looked like a lady. But there was one point where the character, opened its hand and, blades came out. And then right after it did that, then He-Man throws him into the other guy.
So he was just a weapon for the enemy to use.
Pretty much.
Essentially. Get shot, get thrown, get zapped. That's your motivation in this movie.
You are terrible.
Yeah, Sarod sucked.
Did anybody catch what Courtney Cox dumped on Beastman's face?
Ammonia.
Yeah, it was ammonia.
That shouldn't hurt that much.
No, it shouldn't.
No, he was acting like it was acid.
Yeah.
He was going to die.
Have you guys ever breathed ammonia?
Yeah, it smells like cat pee.
Yeah, it hurts real bad. Yeah. But I don't think getting some dumped on your skin's going to real mess you up. Especially if you're from Eternia. You're probably immune to it. Because...
he probably has cats pee on his face for fun.
Yeah, he's
the Beast Man.
He's Beast Man.
I'm sure he pees and gets peed on. But yeah. So then giant spaceships show up and they just cruise down Main Street. Yeah. And again, nobody cares.
Skeletor has his own parade.
Well, that's towards the end, but before that, Evil Lynn shows up, played by Meg Foster, who was atrociously bad.
I didn't think she did that bad. I thought that
she mailed it in, dude.
Courtney Cox and Frank Langella. Actually, Frank Langella lost me at points. It was just so weird, and I don't know if he just couldn't do anything with the lines or what. But
he sounded a lot like Skeletor,
Courtney Cox
though.
did okay.
I don't think he sounded anything like Skeletor. Skeletor sounds like I am Skeletor.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is not what he sounds like.
He's got a really high-pitched voice. Really high-pitched, whereas Frank Langella was a little bit more throaty and I will have all of the power, and you can't have cosmic keys, you loincloth-wearing son of a bitch.
Speedo wearing.
Speedo wearing. Loincloth, son of a bitch. And then, so they have another shootout again I'm at the music shop, and Tila has a line. She says,
Oh.
looks like this takes a woman's touch.
Yeah,
and then grabs the gun and then shoots somebody and says, woman at arms.
Which is awful. And then when she stands up to shoot everybody, she's holding the gun like my grandma used to hold the remote control. Like, oh, I've got like her arms
Like
are
a
all
frying
bent. She's
pan.
not even aiming it.
Like she is sauteing some mushrooms.
Yeah.
with
It's
that.
a two-hander job.
Yeah.
Elbows are bent and...
Yeah, like, not only are your elbows bent, but they're touching your sides. Like, you're not going to shoot anybody holding a gun like that.
She was...
And then to
She was
then
a
shoot
terrible
everybody.
Tila. She had a perm, for one.
Yeah, she
had
was
brown
awful.
hair. She had a sun visor on backwards.
Yeah.
That was like a headband / backwards ass helmet thing. And,
then
it was like, what is... it's a visor. It is a sun visor that
Gray
you were wearing.
body glove thing with a thong holster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that went right up her butt crack.
Yeah.
Like a piece of metal that literally just went right up her butt crack.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, this is not Tila at all.
No, it wasn't. But...
Not
It's
that
like
Chelsea
she just
Field had
made up her
anything
own
that she could do
costume.
about that.
And the Walkman that she had on her arm.
Oh, she did have a disassembled Walkman on her arm, which does get used
does
in the
get
movie.
used later in the
Yeah.
movie.
It's part of their
But it was just...
cosmic key repair.
The costumes in this movie were just shit.
Yeah, you just can't get over that.
I can't. It just pissed me off so bad because I loved He-Man and She-Ra. I still do. And you know what? None of those fucking characters looked anything like they were supposed to.
So...
And it just pissed me off.
I kind of wonder, like, how it would have looked if they'd used the exact costumes. Like, Sorceress kind of had a little bit of a skin. She was basically wearing a swimsuit. She was a onesie.
It was a feathery swimsuit.
Feathery
that didn't
onesie.
do much to... there was not much left to the imagination.
Right, and if
Yeah,
that
and it
had
looked
been
awesome.
if that had been on live action, I guarantee you,
Well, it's not like she moved around a whole lot
the
during this
actress
movie.
would have had half of her ass hanging out the entire
Yeah,
time.
but James Tolkien
No, you
says
just
shit
super glue
in
that
the
shit to
movie.
your butt so your butt stays in the costume. There's ways you can... It's like swimsuit things.
You
when they
wear
walk,
feathery onesies all the time.
Okay, so like in beauty
They do
pageants,
it.
right? When they have...
They spray glue
Yeah.
the crap on so shit doesn't fall out.
Yeah, when they do beauty pageants and they have the swimsuit edition, they spray glue that shit in place.
Is that why they walk so stiff?
Yeah, because they're like, dude, this is ripping out my ass hair. This is not
That,
fun.
and if they don't watch stiff, their shit will just fall out because those things don't cover up much.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's like,
Somebody should do that. It'd be fun. Where were we? Man at Arms. We were going to talk about Man at Arms' stupid costume. The
with the eagles on it.
well, it was like
It's the same
football
it's the
pads.
Same, it's the same thing Tila's wearing. It's the silver, like it looks like
Leotard.
a wetsuit or something like that, warm weather wetsuit, and then some shoulder pads.
Yeah,
that have been
and
spray
a helmet
painted.
that was basically like a skateboarding helmet with a orange visor glued onto the side
that
of it.
you couldn't see out when you put down. There was no point in using the visor.
No, and he never
Yeah.
did he?
He did at one point, but he couldn't see shit. You could tell.
Nice.
He was like, don't let me fall down. I don't want to be one of those guys from the beginning.
Yeah, the Darth Vader henchman guys. So eventually, after much more bullshit, Skeletor finally shows up on Earth. He's had enough. I'm done decorating my castle. I'm going to take my Jabba barge.
Yeah, it was
To Earth.
Yeah.
made of the same plastic panels as the Jabba barge.
And they had henchmen, the Centurions or whatever,
Yeah,
walking along. Like, it was like a fucking parade.
It was a parade
like, if he
for
would have had
Skeletor.
some candy to throw at kids, he would have been the most popular
And
float.
again, none of the townies give a shit.
Nobody cares.
No one
Nobody
cares.
cares.
A big old portal opens up in the middle of your street,
They're
and then
bit-
The
just
people
some
that
weirdo
live
comes out.
on either side of it are like, whatever.
Well, it's nighttime during the 80s.
You know what? They're
And
in
it's
there
on a
'cause it
Thursday,
is. It's
so
Culver
you know what
City.
everybody's doing.
It's Culver City, California. So they're like, shit, at least it's not West Hollywood.
Right. I'm implying that everybody was inside watching Cosby.
Oh. Well,
You couldn't miss Cosby.
Yeah, you couldn't miss
I don't
Cosby.
care if Skeletor and everybody shows up. Gotta watch Cosby.
There's some yahoos out in the street. This is L.A. There's always yahoos out in the street.
Yeah, in just a couple months, we're gonna have this whole town lit on fire.
No.
So he shows up with the Air Centurions, and then you have the Air Centurion battle with He-Man on a flying...
Which is like one of
those
the most welcome moments of unintentional comedy. Because I
Yeah.
actually thought for a canon films, this was one of the least entertaining canon films I've ever seen.
It was. I was like... just kept waiting for something ridiculous to happen, and it just was a bunch of...
You just have to watch the sides for the guys in the black helmets to fall over
Yeah.
because they can't see anything.
Yeah, exactly. But so he gets on the flying saucer that looks like one of those sledding saucers. It really needs to be.
It looks like a manhole cover with
It looks
lights.
like manhole.
Yeah.
So he flies around, shoots guys sometimes, swords them other times, and they explode.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They
He did sword a few
explode.
people.
If you sword an air centurion,
Air
he
Centurions
explodes.
are highly explosive because he shot one and it exploded.
It exploded, but then he shot another one and it just fell down.
Well, that's because he needed that air pad.
So he mentally tells the gun and the sword to not explode the guy.
He-Man's mental powers help with plot convenience.
Yes.
That's what it is.
I didn't realize he had that power.
Yeah, that's one of his magic powers. Which he needs that power because apparently Skeletor can fucking cause shields and zap people to death.
Oh, yeah.
Why do you even need a cosmic key?
You could
or
just
an
zap
army?
everybody.
You just zap everybody and they can't shoot
do
you.
anything to you. But so he's on the Jabba barge, floating through town. There's an Air Centurion battle, and then they kind of all just get captured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Well, it comes in force, so they...
And then they take He-Man back to Eternia.
Right.
And they make him a slave to Skeletor. But the best part about that is they electrified whipped him.
Oh, yeah.
Electrified
laser
whipped.
whipped.
Yeah.
And they gave
He-Man.
Courtney Cox the gangrene on her leg.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It was like a bunch of
she got
captors
zapped.
that had been glued together on somebody's leg.
I saw you writing notes down about the laser whip. What was...
It was just awful. It was like they were trying to do a lightsaber effect with a whip.
Right.
And you could tell the guy wasn't really holding anything. And he
No.
was like,
And it
this
was
is
super
so...
over animated.
Yeah.
It was doing curly cues.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was
while he
moving
was
on its
holding it
own.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, the whip marks on He-Man looked pretty decent, I guess, for a laser whip.
Did they?
Well, they weren't supposed to be
They-
bleeding everywhere. It was a laser whip.
It looked like somebody just took like a small
Lipstick.
paintbrush and just went.
Lipstick on there, but I mean, you can't really say that that's not what it would look like. I guess. I mean, it didn't look bad. It didn't look
I
as
guess
bad
I
as a
haven't
whip.
seen a man whipped in front of me before.
Or a laser whip.
A laser whipped man.
Yeah, you don't know.
Definitely. I
Well, we
guess
forgot
I
to
just-
mention that Gwildor took a 58 Cadillac and made it a bullshit.
Oh
mobile.
yeah,
The pink...
he put some glow sticks on the back of it, and suddenly it had rocket power.
It run on neutrinos instead of hydrocarbons at that point.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that car didn't go fast at all.
No, it was implied that it was going fast, but it looked like it was doing about 25,
Yeah.
which
Like, get out and push.
is
We
not
gotta
very
get to the
fast.
music store.
Yeah. So, and the funny thing is why did they need the rocket car? Because they just ran everywhere. They just,
Yeah.
like, you could get anywhere in this town.
That was the thing.
Just by
Was that
walking.
they were going from the high school to the music shop to the pizza warehouse, which were all on the same street right there.
And then just like an alley. Like just a small alley.
That
with-
was out the alleyway to the pizza warehouse.
No. At the end, when they build the fake the repair the cosmic key, it's
That
just
is
kinda
the
like
side of the music shop.
Oh my
Which
God.
is really dumb because
He takes
you
the car to
he
drive
takes
to the
the
movie.
car to the yeah.
Just like 2 stores down.
the
He's a lazy fuck, dude. This Kevin guy was just...
Kevin. Yeah,
Kevin.
I
What
don't
was her
blame
name?
Courtney Cox for wanting to go to New
What was
Jersey.
her
At least there
name
may
in
be
the
some
movie?
non-lazy men there.
I didn't even really
Julie.
Julie, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, she kind of had a Julie thing going on as well. She just seemed like a Julie. I thought Julie was an accurate name.
Yeah, why not?
With the
Yeah,
with the
there was-
shoulder high hair and the
She just
denim
wasn't sassy
up
at all.
to here.
It's like, you're just the victim over and over and over again. You know what? Why are you in this movie? Because you just keep getting shot at, and now you have gangrene cat leg.
Yeah, gangrene cat leg, because that's what
She saved He-Man.
force
don't-
lightning does to you.
So well, if Skeletor doesn't force lightning you completely evaporated, then I guess it poisons you
Gives
because
you
he force
captured leg.
lightnings. the
So he
snake
also has the mind control
plot
plot power.
convenience. Yes,
Yes, huh? Okay, well, good for them. No
That's
wonder
why there's such an epic battle
They-
between the two at the end.
it's like Batman Joker. They
Yeah.
need each other.
Uh-huh.
They can't live without each other. They're equal, sort of. They're both useless. Yeah, and then so
They take He-Man back. They whip
He-Man's
him.
getting whipped,
They
and
fix the.
Skeletor says the dumbest line in the whole movie. At least, I mean, Woman at Arms is pretty dumb, but he goes, He-Man, let me ask you, is the loneliness of good equal to the loneliness of evil?
Which doesn't make any sense.
What the hell does that mean? And then He-Man just goes, ugh, and then cut, and that's the scene.
There was a lot of lines that Skeletor delivered that were just dumb. They didn't make any sense.
That's
It
a
was
really
like-
dumb one.
That one was probably the stupidest.
I was vexed.
Yeah.
I was very vexed at that. So
we sort of already covered that Kevin comes back with the keyboard. They fix the cosmic.
Well, no, the cosmic key gets blasted by the force lightning.
The plot convenience lightning, and
doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
He-Man's in Eternia.
A fucking Casio,
right?
And it'll work.
Then you have
some
broken
part of a Walkman,
and something that Man-at-Arms had in his pocket that we could
had a really ridiculous name.
Yeah,
and you never actually get a good look
Glubial
at it.
nappers.
Yeah,
the hydro spanners.
And maybe it was just me, but He-Man's sword seemed like abnormally large.
Which should be.
I actually thought it was kind of small because He-Man's toy sword is like super wide. Super wide.
Well, his sword
like
didn't look
as big
anything
as
like
his
the
arm.
He-Man sword. It was just
no,
like every other.
It wasn't green or
goddamn
purple
costume
or whatever. You just can't get off it.
I can't get off the crappy costumes.
So now they built this Casio Cosmic Key, and the Cosmic Keys ran by music. That's how the Cosmic Key works.
The cosmos is ran by music, according to Gwildor, who's a fucking locksmith and a goddamn troll.
Tones.
But apparently he has the whole inner workings of the fucking universe figured out.
And because Kevin is such a sweet musician,
he could remember the 6 fucking notes that the thing played.
Yeah, to open up the time portal, or the
wormhole whatever
thing.
It is.
I don't know. So they are now able to go to Eternia. They go there and just hide behind a Cadillac.
Well, it starts the big battle.
It does it?
Yeah. Because they get blasted, like they porthole right into the middle
the throne room,
the throne room.
But they don't do anything.
They start shooting.
And they don't kill anybody. He-Man
and then
kills
Skeletor's like, well, no, because then Skeletor's like,
he's already got his gold get up on. He's already gotten the
power, his plot convenience lightning to try to shoot He-Man, but it actually just severs his bonds.
Right.
So he actually sets him free.
We did glaze over exactly what Jackie was talking about. He has the power because of the moon. I wasn't really sure
this isn't the power yet. He still doesn't.
He has the power.
He has the power. He's got the gold on.
Oh yeah.
Skeletor's power.
Yeah.
Yeah, the moon cycle, which
moon
is unexplained.
cycle gives him the power because he sticks his sword into a hole.
No, it wouldn't have mattered if he had the sword of Eternia or anything.
The wall just opened, and then these little orange light things came to him in the face.
Do with anything.
And then
he did put the sword in the hole, though.
Yeah, but
and then He-Man takes the sword out of it, and then he has the power.
So that's why his own power. No, because Skeletor doesn't lose any power at that point.
No, he doesn't.
He's still gold.
But He-Man gets the power by touching the sword.
That's just the power of the sword of Eternia.
The
sword of Eternia has its own goddamn power.
Right.
So that's like
the one thing that you need to walk into this movie knowing.
He didn't have. But he had a sword the whole movie. You're saying that wasn't the sword of Eternia?
It was. He just never said, "I have the power."
Why didn't he do that?
Why? Because he has. The movie would be over.
And they had to throw it in somewhere because at no point was he ever at him.
I would just say at the
and
beginning.
Cringer was never there.
No, that's where Battle Cat and Cringer were too expensive.
Yeah.
So, without unleashing the power... Well, and I guess maybe it was because you can't unleash the Sword of Eternia's power on Earth. That would be
that could be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fucking reaching
that's a really good
that.
inference. I mean, you might as well.
You have to infer a lot of things with a film like this.
Yes, you do. So Skeletor's got his golden samurai elephant Viking armor on and is lecturing He-Man about things.
Yeah.
And they show up and they take half the town with them into the portal.
Actually, they take half the car.
Half the car.
And
the side of a building.
But the whole time they're just shooting and they stay back there. They're just like pew 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 pew, and then eventually all the guys are dead because He-Man's just killed all the robots, the Darth Vader thugs, and then he has this end battle with Skeletor, and there's a scene where it's like, oh, He-Man might lose this battle, and they cut to the everybody else. They're still hanging out behind the Cadillac, like watching. They're just eating popcorn.
What are you supposed to do?
I don't know.
You get involved with something like that.
Go, He-Man! You can do it!
Yeah. Either way, He-Man wins or whatever. But that's what doesn't, because when Skeletor gets his bullshit power from the moon or whatever the hell it is, it goes into him. But then He-Man breaks his staff, and then he loses all of it.
Yeah,
he was never in the fucking staff to begin with.
That's how you defeat Skeletor, is you break his staff, even though he has the power of the universe.
And he doesn't even really use a staff, he had a sword. And then his sword
he
comes out
shoot
later.
lasers out of his eyeballs, though, once he gets the power.
Yeah.
Which is kind of dumb.
It is kind of dumb.
But kind of neat at the same time. Because he has Force Lightning already. So
yeah, it seems redundant.
So he ends up getting tossed down a hole, a la Emperor Palpatine.
Yep.
An endless bottomless pit.
Just like Star Wars.
And then the fake Donald Pleasance decides to stay in Eternia because he suddenly gets a random babe out of nowhere that isn't in the movie
I think
all.
that there's probably
nor does have a name.
Just a bunch of sort of
Let's wrap this up now.
half-dressed tarts running around Eternia. Who love
Eternia
middle-aged, retired, bald cops.
From Earth.
Yeah.
That actually are one of the... He's like an enemy.
And it was going to kind of imply that he was going to live at Castle Grayskull. I'm like, nobody fucking lives at Castle Grayskull.
He was making himself a home.
Oh, he was, but then he becomes a great ally because he decides that he's had enough, and he just starts dusting Darth Vader's with a shotgun. We forgot about that part. He just, like, stands up and starts, like, fucking killing everybody.
That he cocked, like, 17 times without ever firing.
Oh, God.
And he just kept cocking that shotgun.
I think I counted 5 there's actually 5 times that he's seen cocking the shotgun before ever pulling the trigger.
Yeah, so
screen.
You can see it in his eyes, like, I have had enough. I don't care what team I'm on. I'm going to start dusting fools.
Yeah.
And these guys
in
look
the
as
black
good as
helmets,
any. Yeah.
They look good.
I've had enough. Light them all up.
See, what's the line, though, he says, like, right before that? Nobody takes pot shots at...
Lubric, yeah.
And then he gets up and starts blowing people away.
So which earns him the right to just sit on the throne at Eternia.
Just hang out and get broads.
And here's your free broad.
And
your free broad and your castle.
State-funded retirement. All of the citizenry of Eternia, who you've done nothing for except shoot a few guys with a shotgun. Sounds like a nice place.
And it's not mentioned what happens to He-Man at all. Like, hey, are you now good? You're the sole ruler of Eternia.
It's making it seem as if the sorceress is the ruler of Eternia in the film because she's sitting in the throne at the end.
Oh,
like they just glossed like the king and queen of Eternia. They're just not involved.
They're not. Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
they didn't show their castle at all.
Which is too bad because I had a crush on He-Man's mom as well. She was pretty hot.
She was actually human. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, she's from Earth.
She's from Earth.
That's the connection.
Did not know that. Well, why didn't they do that? That seems like a perfect opportunity. Courtney Cox's parents should have ended up being king and queen of Eternia.
And then He-Man would be her gay brother.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And which is fine because they don't make out or anything. She
ends
up
film,
going back to Earth
He-Man
with Kevin.
is quite heterosexual because he gets a big handful of Tila's ass.
That's true. That's true.
Dolph Lundgren, cameras on, sexual harassment's off.
Yep.
Can't do anything about this.
Diplomatic immunity
from film rolling
from aggravated assault.
Yeah.
So Courtney Cox and Kevin go back to Earth.
She gets her leg healed. They go back to Earth. Gwildor says some bullshit about time travel right beforehand. She says some bullshit about, they send me back. And then it cuts to her, and her parents are still alive.
Yay. And that's
because
the
now
end of the film.
Gwildor has the power of fucking plot convenience.
It's the end of the film. Or is it? And I was kind of surprised, because I was just joking when I said, I wonder if there's going to be any post-credit sequence, like Marvel movies. And you're like, there is. I was not ready.
Ready for that? Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to turn it off.
See, I think I watched it 3 times on VHS before I actually...
I was very surprised.
Saw that the first time.
Yeah.
I think I've actually seen it.
So if you end up watching this movie, make sure you watch the post-credit sequence for one of the dumbest things you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, it's super dumb.
It's 3 words.
And it takes like 10 seconds, like 4
delivered
seconds.
Very poorly, and then it freeze frames on Skeletor's face. Oh, I ruined it.
Yeah, you did. You might as well just tell them now what he says.
I'll be back! And
he's
then
in water.
Freeze frame. Yeah,
Pink water.
Pink water.
Pink water.
With no clothes on. Or like nothing on his head.
Hood's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we saw that though when he fell down to his Darth Vader doom.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's actually a bad cut there before He-Man knocks him off the platform.
He just
knocks
falling.
his hood off, and then it cuts to him, and his hood's back on again.
Yeah, I saw that too. I saw that too.
His off again when he's falling. Or
yeah,
whatever.
there was definitely some continuity errors as far as the editing and what have you. I just thought it was funny that it like freeze frames at the end of it on, like, you know when you pause it in a movie and, like, you catch a character, like, halfway delivering a line but kind of blinking at the same time, making her, like, a really dumb face? That's the dumb face that Skeletor makes. It's like, I'll be back!
I think it really helped Frank Langella's career that he was in full makeup. Because, like, without really knowing who he is, you don't...
Which I didn't like his makeup at all.
No, it was dumb.
Like, so he's a skeleton...
With eyes.
With mouth.
With eyelids.
And then he had vampire teeth.
With vampire teeth.
He had Hordak teeth.
Yeah, I didn't like his face at all. I thought it looked shitty. Like, why not just black out his eyes? Try to make it...
And then the nose, like, having the odd, like, completely visible fabric for the nose holes. Like, just make the makeup come out prosthetically a little bit. For the love of God.
Like, it kind of... The first time I saw him, I was like, you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if somebody remakes this and just CGIs his face the whole time, because that's what needs to happen. Well, I mean, the movie doesn't need to happen, but if there is such a thing... Oh, but wait, there is. Yes, there will be a Masters of the Universe. It's been greenlit by Sony Pictures.
Yay!
They're pursuing directors right now. They got 3. And I've never heard of 2 of them, and the only reason I've heard of the last guy is because I looked him up, and he's the guy that rebooted Karate Kid.
Oh.
So... It's gonna suck.
Well, yeah. That was sort of... Because they originally tried to do a sequel.
They did try to do a sequel. No money.
Albert P. and, whatever... Galan and Globus don't want to pay Mattel. So then it becomes Cyborg.
I don't really get that. Isn't that just kind of like free advertising for them?
No, see, my question is, how, after this first one, is Mattel still on board? Because you didn't sell any of their toys.
Right.
And you didn't give them any new characters to make toys out of.
Toys off of.
Oh, let's play He-Man. Who wants to be Kevin?
I'm Kevin.
Did you guys want to play with? I got Kevin's sport van and keyboard.
Keyboard action. And you push a button on his back, and he says something stupid like, "I'm lame."
Yeah. Oh, sweet. You got Julie's 62 buttoned denim jacket.
With pregnancy action.
Yeah, so I'm just surprised that Mattel was even on board for a sequel. I think that they would have washed their hands of the
really
whole
strange
business.
You know, speaking of Courtney Cox, the other fun costume you could get for the He-Man was Courtney Cox pajamas.
Pajamas, yeah. Which, if you recall last night, because I had mentioned that I was going to accuse her of getting a boob job, but I saw enough in those pajamas that I was like, no, she's actually got some boobs in that movie, so...
You know, I didn't really pay any attention to any of that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I was just more stunned by the attire choice.
Oh,
she gets sent back into time into the silliest pajamas of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Like 1950s old lady pajamas.
Actually, I would say that it was like a grown person's version of a 2-year-old's pajamas.
Yeah.
Because they were like
I didn't wear
fleecy
pajamas with holes in the bottom. Like pajama dress, I never
Well, you're not a girl.
Well, I never saw girls wear that.
I had those.
You know, I wear girls' clothes all the time. That doesn't mean anything.
Either way.
So, you guys got anything else to say about the movie?
Costumes.
Again?
Gary Goddard, the director, he was also the creator of the short-lived series Captain Power. Do you recall Captain Power?
Wasn't that the Earth guy? No, that's Captain Planet.
Captain Planet, no.
I don't remember Captain
Power's costumes are amazingly similar to the shit that was in this. I couldn't find one person in common other than Gary Goddard.
Is it a movie or a TV show?
It's a TV show that only made it 13 episodes.
No, I don't remember Captain Power.
It was terrible, but it looked a lot like that movie. And I was unable to find anybody in common other than Gary Goddard, but that's enough of a connection that... Those are the only 2 things that guy's done.
Is that...
Failed series and He-Man, that's it.
Wow.
And the commentary.
And the commentary.
And
he was terrible at the commentary.
Oh, yeah. He was just reading the credits for us like we couldn't read. David Odell wrote it. Also wrote The Dark Crystal.
Which isn't very good.
Which,
I mean, the
he
story
wrote the
is not very good.
that Jim Henson wrote the story, he wrote the script. Now, his other 2 films, Nate and Hayes, which is a swashbuckler starring a young Tommy Lee Jones that we might have to check out.
Oh, yeah, that sounds fun.
He also wrote the script to Supergirl with one Helen Slater, who is the star of The Legend of Billie Jean, which is a movie that we should get on here as soon as we can.
Okay. Duly noted.
Who also is starring the first main role for Christian Slater, who is not in fact related to Helen Slater whatsoever.
Okay.
But they play brother and sister, and they have the same last name. And the Legend of Billie Jean is supposed to be goddamn terrible. The main track, title track to it or whatever, is a Pat Benatar tune.
Nice.
And when Pat Benatar sings the songs in her concerts, the introduction is, "This is a song I wrote from the worst movie that's ever been made."
Ooh, tasty.
Tasty.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hey, you didn't even mention your box song that you liked.
Oh yeah, Living in a Box. I really wonder if this movie is where Living in a Box that song came from. But anyways, it's not in it very much, but I did notice it, and I loved it when I was a kid because
I've never heard that song.
The funny
before.
thing about living in a box, living in a cardboard box, is the song's name is Living in a Box. The band's name is Living in a Box. The album's name is Living on the Box. They produce their own record, so it's produced by Living on a Box as well.
Well, that's one more than Halloween, because
Yeah.
there was Halloween was the band's song and album.
Yeah, I'd love living in a box, living in a cardboard box. So, would you guys recommend it? Would you
Yes,
pass it on?
I would. It's a fun watch.
I think I'm going to give it
takes
a recommend.
while. I would give it a recommend. It takes a little while, but once the Air Commandos or whatever, the Air Centurions come out, it gets fucking silly.
It's not even in the discussion of, like, wow, that was awesome.
Classic stinker? No.
Classic stinker. It's not a classic stinker, but I think it's not bad enough to not recommend it.
Yeah, it's a
If it had been
view.
slightly more shitty, I think just even
A little bit more
a
shitty.
tiny bit more shitty, I think it would become a disrecommend, but it's still in the recommend side of things, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Especially because it is such a completely just horribly done adaptation.
Yeah.
That most people have seen at least one episode of He-Man, so
Right.
check
They
out
have
how they
an
screwed
idea.
this up.
Yeah, no kidding. Anything else?
I did both pages of notes, so I don't have
Yeah.
anything else to talk about.
I think I have. A couple fun facts about it. I'm sorry, I do have a couple more things. Pig Boy. Pig Boy was the guy that hands the staff to Skeletor at the end. He was a contest winner from Mattel. And if you won the contest, I don't know what the contest was, you got to be in the movie. But originally it was billed as you got to have a part in the movie.
I remember that, yeah.
A speaking
I remember that
part.
now.
And they didn't have time, so they just made Pig Boy hand him the staff.
That's the way
Totally
it goes
sucks.
usually. Usually you don't even end up in the movie.
Yeah,
you just get like
exactly.
a free day at Universal Studios.
Yeah. The Cosmic Keys, there was 3 of them for the film they
Alright.
made. In 2012, the 3 of them were appraised for $6,000 each.
That's pretty good.
That seems like it's kind of expensive. And last but not least, the movie had a $22 million budget in 1987, so all of the money.
That's sort of weird, because he, in the commentary, Goddard claims the budget was 17.
He was 17, and then because of all of the mess-ups, and it was way behind schedule, he had to ask for another 7. Or not 7, 5, and got it.
Interesting.
So $22 million total is what that movie cost.
Or he
and
spent it all up front, didn't realize that he wasn't supposed to spend the special effects money.
Probably.
Could have done that. Accidentally spent the special effects money.
Yeah, now we have to post
get more money
everything.
for that.
Yeah. And they also wanted to originally have Lundgren have all of his lines dubbed by somebody else, but they didn't have time. So they just used Lundgren's original dialogue.
Huh.
Not any ADR work at all.
That's interesting.
It is
it's interesting that they were going to overdub him when they had in the credits a handful of acting coaches.
Yeah,
dedicated
exactly.
just for
To get him to...
Yeah.
To
Wow.
say things right.
Well, did he? I mean...
He fucked up most of
the acting
lines.
was pretty bad.
But it wasn't like he was on his own doing it bad, though. Everybody was doing it pretty bad.
True.
Yeah.
True. And on that...
Well,
Nope.
also the Albert Pune sequel that they decided not to give Mattel the money for becomes the Cyborg franchise.
Oh, yeah. With Jean-Claude Van Damme, which was just a
He-Man
big deal.
2 is, they didn't, I guess, change the script that much, is Cyborg 2.
Yeah.
Or Cyborg is
And then-
He-Man 2, yeah.
Which is fun. I'd do that. So, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.